today we are fighting not only for our country and for our freedom, we are fighting for independence of Europe, independence from Russian gas, independence from supply of energy resources. It's global risk, not risk to our country, but to whole European continent. And it should be the final wake-up call for all European nations to take seriously in building of independence of our continent. In this critical point, we need strong position of global leaders to stop Russia, to stop these attacks on civil infrastructure.
Mr. Timchenko, thanks a lot for talking to Deutsche Welle. I would like to start by asking you what your reaction to President Zelensky's speech today.
Of course, I support every single word of our president. And I think he demonstrated today and all these years global leadership. I fully support his thesis that national security, energy security of Europe cannot be built without Ukraine. And today we are fighting not only for our country and for our freedom, we are fighting for independence of Europe, independence from Russian gas, independence from other supply of energy resources, and building the future of national security and landscape of energy security of Europe. I think it was a very serious call from President Zelenskyy to European leaders to see what is happening in Ukraine, and that it's global risk, not risk to our country, but to whole European continent. And it should be the final wake-up call for all European nations to take seriously in building of independence of our continent.
He was particularly hard on the European leaders here when he mentioned their role in Ukraine and the fact that Europe is not doing enough. What exactly can Europe do at this point in time when it comes to Ukraine? What would the president like? What would you like?
First of all, I'm very much thankful to Europe, to our partners, for all their support. It's hard to imagine how we can keep fighting on military front, on energy front, for 4 years without support of European countries, United States of America, and all our partners. Today is critical situation if we're talking about energy infrastructure. Russians turned their attention from military front line, where they not succeeded at all, to destroying our civil infrastructure and bringing so much suffering to our people. And in this critical point, we need strong position of global leaders to stop Russia, to stop these attacks on civil infrastructure, absolutely not related to any military facilities. Stop this energy terror in our country, when people staying for weeks without heat with temperature minus 15. And we need strong position of European leaders, European country, to stop Russia. What kind of peace negotiation can be when they every single day destroying civil infrastructure, leaving people without heat, without water, without electricity? How in parallel can be seriously taken all this peace conversation? So that's why what we need now is at least energy ceasefire for humanitarian reasons. What can be done more is air defense. We need more supplies from our European partners, more supplies to our air defense, new systems and ammunition to what we have now. We need urgent supply of critical equipment, either used or new equipment, so that we can recover what was destroyed, and we need financial support. We have a very effective mechanism, Energy Support Fund, which is lacking now 380 million euro and we need urgent financial support so that we can place orders for production of new equipment. This is what we need now.
I would touch upon the whole bombing of the critical infrastructure, the energy infrastructure in Ukraine. But before that, I wanted to ask you about what happened today here. There was a meeting between President Zelenskyy and the US President Trump. What do you make of that meeting?
First of all, I want to say a lot of thanks and gratitude to President Trump for his strong, decisive position, for his support of Ukrainians, and for his actions. Probably you noticed in his speech yesterday, he was genuinely thinking about Ukrainians, about Ukrainian soldiers and people who are dying every day. And I'm really thankful for his leadership. And I want to repeat myself, my strong belief that the only person in the world who can stop Putin, or at least bring him for real peace negotiation, is President Trump. And what we received is comments of our president that it was good conversation. It's obvious for all of us that President Trump keep focus on Ukraine and do everything possible to stop these killings every day. I hope that all these comments, positive comments, will be realized in actions, in ceasefire, and in lasting peace in Ukraine.
Let's turn our focus to Kyiv, Ukraine, where the bombings have actually intensified. At this point in time, I'm sure your employees are working overtime to make sure that the power grids are back on as quickly as possible. Could you describe the situation right now in Kyiv?
As I said, situation is critical. People staying without electricity 15 to 20 hours a day. Some apartment blocks without electricity for days. We do everything possible and sometimes impossible to recover. And you see that now the situation under leadership and control of President Zelenskyy, and it helped us a lot to unite all our efforts. Private and state-owned energy companies, agencies, governments, so we all work together 24/7 and concentrated all our resources to cope with this challenge we have now in Kyiv. So what is important is that we didn't lose heating system. We have interruptions, but heating is getting back to apartment blocks, building by building. So we try to extend the time when we have electricity, and now we are moving to I hope that by Monday situation will improve, and then it will be not three hours with electricity and 15 hours without, but we can make more power supply to our people. And the most important is to cope with the next attack and stop this attack. And this is what critically important for us, more air defense now, so that we can protect at least those which is not damaged or recovered, what we do in 24/7.
We are almost reaching the 4th year of this war, right? February, it will be 4 years since the invasion. What is the current state of energy infrastructure in Ukraine?
Of course, after so many attacks, and every single power station in Ukraine was attacked for several times, the state of equipment is bad. That's what I can say. And every recovery of power unit make reliability of this power unit worse. And today, especially under these winter conditions, even if it's not damaged, it's difficult for us to provide this reliability. As a result of several attacks, this equipment is not working properly. So that's why what is important for us now is to recover and protect what is possible to recover. But what is more important is to build new, more resistant energy production facilities like wind parks, solar parks, battery storage. So distributed generation, how we call it, so that it's hard to heat and it's faster to recover. So we had attacks to our solar farm, which lost the full capacity, and it took only 5 days for us to recover, bring it back to life. So our company, during the wartime, invested more than 2.2 billion euro. And part of this is new projects, wind park, battery storage project, and this is what helps to help resistance of our energy system a lot. And here we present new projects, we build a consortium of partners to continue investments in building in Ukraine. And this can be absolutely different level of security and resistance for the future energy system of Ukraine.
You mentioned an expenditure of 2.2 billion euros. I just want to get a sense of just how well placed in terms of resources is DTEK to deal with the current situation.
Like any company in Ukraine, we are suffering huge financial losses out of this constant destruction. But number one, we are very thankful to our partners who supply equipment, and it's great support for us, so that we get this equipment for these 4 years to recover what was destroyed. We are thankful to governments and financial institutions provide us debt financing so that we can build new projects, what I just mentioned. And in total, the budget of this wind park and battery storage, brand new projects, about 800 million euro. And significant part of this was provided as a debt financing and guaranteed by the export credit agency or governments of other countries, our partners. So we cannot rely on traditional way of financing of new projects. That's why government support is extremely important. And this is what we're discussing here, and we see openness of international financial institutions, export credit agencies, governments to support us keep investing into new projects in Ukraine.
Many thanks, Mr. Timchenko, for talking to Deutsche Welle.
Thank you very much for your attention, and you help us to keep awareness of situation in Ukraine here.